Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Informal back with a new Mr. Informal podcast. Again, I go by the name of Mr. Informal. I hope you are doing well today. I hope you are safe wherever you are in the world, and I hope you are healthy, and certainly, I hope you are enjoying life. So, Easter just passed by, and we are on the month of April. The month of April is almost ending, and summer is right around the corner. So, first and foremost, I just want to make sure I remind you that please do not forget to add me on Instagram, MISTERINFORMAL, and then check out my website, mrinformal.com, MRINFORMAL.com. So, this is the podcast 216. What do we have for this podcast? Number one, REI. Department stores of all outdoor gear as a loss for the year 2022. Interesting. Number two, Lululemon decided to make certain fabrics made of plant. And then number three, Twitter is talking about the government. Yes, the government. Twitter removes state-affiliated and government media labels. Last but not least, TikTok is going to do something about this climate change denial content. Could you believe that? Well, I certainly can. So those are the four topics for this Mr. Informal podcast. And so let's go ahead and start the podcast 216. Here we go. On to the first topic from retaildive.com titled REI swings to a loss despite record sales in 2022. REI reached a record $3.9 billion in sales last year. The outdoor co-op retailer said in financial disclosure Wednesday. The company, which aims to grow 50 million members, added 1.3 in 2022, bringing a total of 23 million. The company swung to 164.7 million loss from a net income of 97.7 million in 2021. Operating expense rose from 22.6% to 1.8 million. The retailer also closed the year by making permanent its opt-outside policy, which entails closing Black Friday and paying employees to enjoy the outdoors per press release. Interesting. Paying the employees to enjoy the outdoors. Maybe I should work for REI. So, while the company is in the red, it remains focused on the path back to sustainable profitability for co-op to ensure a healthy long-term future, Art said. So basically, CEO Eric Arts in a public letter. Not only that, REI in recent months has struggled to square its progressive reputation with what union organizers to some stores have still are anti-union tactics. Several stores have either unionized or are working on it. In his letter, Arts didn't mention those efforts, but said the company has worked to improve pay condition for its employees. So, my thing is that they made a lot of money last year, as of 2022, and yet they also said they're in a loss. So I'm very confused here. So I'm just trying to understand. So let me get this right. REI swings to a loss despite record sales. I'm very confused. It may be the title of the thing. So the company invested $50 million toward pay raises for hourly employees and another $92 million towards employee retirement bonuses, which are set. So maybe it's the employee benefits that making REI lose profit margins. Could be profit sales. Not only that, could be their public reputation towards the people, because REI is quite progressive. Not only that, from what it looks like, and yes, I do know firsthand experience that REI do have a lot of liberals on their side or independents. But I'm not gonna get into that because I'm mostly gonna talk about REI. So in terms of outdoors, people were going outdoors in 2021 and 2022, which made profit company which made companies like REI make profits, such as Backcountry and also Moose Jaw, whatever you want to call it. But certainly REI is really great because they have a lot of footprint. But at the same time, what I don't understand is that what REI is spending on, that they're making there's more operation cost than their profit margins. Like, they need to be focused. It's pretty obvious that the management do not have a focus. They were probably surprised by last year's profit margins, that they want to invest it more. But then again, they didn't. I don't think they invested in the right place. They should have invested internally, obviously, such as pay raise, so better employee retention, retirement, and also benefits. But the thing is, I'm not sure that they did that, because if they did that, they would not go through this trouble. Also, they probably did a lot more marketing now, and I know that they also invested in their own brands. But it's pretty obvious that REI do not have a focus right now. Now, I used to be part of co-op that I paid was it $10 a whole year or something like that? I can't remember. But either way, how could a company like REI could have made profit sales last year and yet still have a loss? It's pretty obvious. Their operational cost was more than their sales. On to topic number 2. This is interesting. Lululemon debuts plant-based nylon shirts from Retail Dive. As it continues to experiment with alternative materials, Lululemon is releasing its first product made from plant-based nylon, the company said in a release. The shirts were developed in partnership with sustainable materials company Geno, which Lululemon invested in 2 years ago. The two companies developed the alternative nylon material by replacing the petroleum in the fabric with plants. The company, the plant-based nylon metal fit and swiftly tech short-sleeve shirts have the same lightweight feel as its other apparel, according to Lululemon, and are part of the retailer's goals to make all products with sustainable materials with 2030. I mean, am I missing something wrong here? I mean, isn't cotton a sustainable material? Cotton is biodegradable. Cotton is a plant. I mean, they could also use pineapple fibers. I mean, what about hemp? I mean, what's wrong with hemp? But one thing that people don't seem to understand is nylon is UV resistant. Nylon is very tough. Nylon is very durable. I mean, you're telling me you're gonna replace nylon with that? With a plant base? I'm confused. I mean, maybe in the future it could. So, we've been working on a plant-based nylon with our partner Geno for almost 2 years, testing ways to integrate these groundbreaking materials with our product philosophy of creating products to help our guests feel their best. Esther Speck, Senior Vice President of Global Sustainable Businesses and Impact at Lululemon. That is quite a title. The launch of our first plant-based nylon products is an example of Lululemon's environmental commitments in action and what's come to our journey towards net zero. And you know what? I just thought of something. This makes brands like Adidas and Nike look bad, because they have a higher budget than Lululemon, and yet Lululemon is investing in these types of materials. Look, don't get me wrong, I'm sure those two brands did invest on some plant-based or sustainable fibers, but I don't think it's to this extent where Lululemon invested in Geno. So it is quite interesting. So in 2021, the company unveiled yoga mat and 2 bags made from Milo, a material constructed of mycelium, the root of structure of mushrooms. The Lululemon is founding member of Milo Consortium. The retailer touted the plant-based nylon as one of many sustainable initiatives, including a resale program that launched nationwide a year ago. Look, If you're really gonna talk about sustainability and biodegradability, I'm just gonna go for hemp, cotton, pineapple fibers. I mean, am I missing something here? I mean, people are gonna say, "Oh, cotton wastes a lot of water." Well, what about hemp? Well, if we're gonna talk about this nylon plant-based, well, what's the process like? How easy it is? Do we need to go through washes? How much fossil fuel does it take to create these yarns or fabrics? I mean, that's what I want to know compared to our current fabrics. On to the third topic from social media today, titled "Twitter Removes State Affiliated and Government Funded Labels." With the various changes happening in Twitter, it's hard to tell right now what's actual systematic change. But at least right now, Twitter seems to have removed all of its labels on government and state affiliated media accounts. You know, those labels that prompted NPR and PBS that they'll stop using Twitter. I wish Elon Musk could have kept those labels. Yep, that's where we're going right now. Yet, as a note, it is hard to tell if this is by mistake because Twitter has also removed its gold checkmark from a heap of business accounts that it didn't mean to as part of its legacy blue tech purge. Twitter also looking to add gold checkmarks to all accounts that spend within excess of $1,000 on ads each month. Well, that's actually pretty good. That's a pretty good plan by Elon Musk. Oh, I'm pretty sure his team made that. As official comms account lose their tick and other users step in to take their place. In other words, it's all a bit of a mess. No one knows. Well, it's basically a wild west right now. Musk had repeatedly noted that he was looking forward to removing legacy blue checkmarks, which he says were allocated via a corrupt bias system under previous Twitter management. That is true, and that's still true. Somehow the blue tick had moved from being a marker of confirmed identity to a status symbol. Well, I mean, owning a Louis Vuitton is a status symbol. Owning a Rolex is also a status symbol. And what about the verified user in Instagram? Isn't that also a status symbol? So, look, I wish that Elon Musk could have kept those check marks because we need to know who is funded by who here and who is biased and non-biased. You know, who basically that's it. I mean, right now, we don't even know if AI generated news is happening right now. We don't know what's new, what is news, what's actual news, what's factual news. We don't know. Nobody knows. I mean, you go to social media, you go to YouTube, you go to Rumble. I mean, no one really knows unless it gets somehow media coverage and there's further investigation. Also, a lot of these government-funded news sites are not even doing investigative journalism where they should be doing that, and that's what they should be doing, and that's what they must be doing. Oh, I don't know if it's a must, but it's ridiculous nowadays that these shows or these news sites can't say or can't show certain details or certain people, or they can't be biased towards somebody. No, you have to be in the middle. You know, just say the truth. Call a spade for a spade. That's it. You know, I really want Elon Musk, when it comes to these government news entity, they need to be labeled. Because again, we don't know what's true. We don't know if they're in the middle. We don't know what kind of biases they're making. And behind the scenes, the editorial discussion, we don't know what's going on in there. So why not put them in there? So what if they don't use it? What? BBS, NPR? What, are we going to miss them just because they're not going to use Twitter? So what? On to the last topic, which I think, I mean, I don't even want to say, but in any case, from social media today, titled "TikTok moves to ban all climate change denial content." What does that even mean? TikTok's looking to take stronger stance against climate change misinformation, with the platform outlawing all content that undermines well-established scientific consensus about climate change and its impact. Really? So TikTok now is a scientist? They're dictating on what is true and what is not true? So on April 21, we will begin to ramp up enforcement of a new climate change misinformation policy which removes climate change misinformation that undermines well-established scientific consensus, such as content denying the existence of climate change or the factors contribute to it. As we do all the misinformation policies, we will work with independent fact-checking partners when applying this policy to help assess the accuracy of the content. Again, these fact checkers, are they scientists? I mean, where are they getting these facts from? From Britannica? From some 2099 encyclopedia? So climate change has a common focus of discussion online, with some major publication fueling the belief that climate threat has been overblown for political means. Facebook also has banned climate denial content and still facilitate the distribution, such as which helps amplify queries. Despite, as TikTok notes, scientific consensus being that climate change is happening, that we need to act now to stop. There's no denying that climate change is happening, because when you have so many cars using fossil fuels, that's including EVs, electric vehicles, of course, you're making climate change much faster, but it doesn't mean that the earth is going to deteriorate. The only time that the earth deteriorates is when we messed up and suddenly bomb every country with nuclear weapons. So, given the role that social apps play in the distribution of news and misinformation, it's important that they also take responsibility in this respect. Again, so I'm going to get to this. But then again, the same could be applied to the COVID crisis, which has been subject to Twitter's Twitter files exposed to the government meddling in the content moderation within social apps. So I need to understand, when did TikTok become doctors and scientists? Because TikTok is not even a doctor. And these fact checkers are not even the doctors. And doctors can't even decide what is true and what is not. Also, your body is different from another person. Why do you think every doctor will always, why do you think every good doctors will tell you that just because this medicine works for this doesn't mean it's gonna work for you? That's been true for allergy medicines. Come on, we have different kinds of allergy medicines here. And we also got different kinds of reaction from the China virus vaccination. Let's be honest here. So look, I don't have TikTok. I'm glad I don't have TikTok, and I'm glad that Montana is banning TikTok in the state of Montana. I mean, was it state of Montana? Wyoming? Well, one of those. One of the 50 states of United States of America is banning TikTok. Hey, which is good, right? Depends on you. I cannot tell you what not to use. If you want to use TikTok, then don't. If you want to use TikTok, then go ahead. No one's stopping you, and that's how TikTok should do. Now, I need to understand here. Since when did all these social media suddenly played scientists and doctors? I'm just trying to understand here. And so that concludes this Mr. Informal Podcast 216. I'm glad that you listened to me. Hopefully you listened to me from beginning to end. If you did, I really do appreciate it. Hopefully I gave you news that you have not heard before from other articles and also websites and also news. So again, those are the 4 topics for this Mr. Informal Podcast 216. Please do not forget to add me on Instagram, MISTERINFORMAL, and then check out my website, mrinformal.com, MRINFORMAL.com. And so I hope you stay safe. I hope you stay healthy wherever you are in the world. I hope you have good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And so I will see you in the next podcast. Bye-bye.